Welcome to Have More Babies. This is the show where we take a whole stack of expert sources, dive in, and pull out the most valuable, actionable stuff for you.
And today, we are tackling something that I think every parent has felt some anxiety about. Helping your child adjust to a new class.
Or a whole new school.
Exactly. It's a huge stressor, especially if your kid is a little on the shy side, maybe a bit introverted.
For sure. And our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're looking for a shortcut to the best advice on this. We're pulling all these practical steps straight from material provided by Omega Pediatrics.
Right. They're a practice that serves families in places like Roswell, Alpharetta, and Milton, Georgia. And they have some really deep insights into, a child's social and psychological adjustment.
Yeah, we're really looking for the surprising facts, those clear strategies that can help turn that back-to-school anxiety into confidence.
And this is so necessary because social skills, they're not a given, right? They're learned, they're practiced, and they're absolutely crucial for everything that comes later.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start with, the literal nuts and bolts. The first day of school. The sources really emphasize that logistics, just the timing of your arrival, can matter way more than we think.
It does, because when a child is already feeling anxious, they're so susceptible to sensory overload.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. The noise, the crowds, the chaos of a school hallway on day one, for some kids, that's an immediate shutdown trigger.
So the strategy here, which is so simple I almost overlooked it, is just arriving early.
Exactly, just 10 or 15 minutes ahead of the bell. It lets the child have a kind of soft launch.
Right.
They get to see the layout, find the classroom, just get a feel for the place before it becomes overwhelming. They can kind of claim their space in a calm setting.
That initial sense of security has to be huge. It gives them a baseline. And the sources also say this prep should start even earlier than that morning, right?
Correct. If you can, do a pre-first day tour, maybe the week before, and don't just find the classroom.
Find the other key spots.
Yes. The office, the bathrooms, and especially the cafeteria. For so many kids, the cafeteria is like the epicenter of social chaos.
Oh, totally.
Knowing where to line up, just having a general sense of the room, that mitigates so much of that fear of the unknown.
Reduce the unknown, reduce the fear. Makes perfect sense. Okay, so preparation builds the foundation. Now we need to move into, active skill building. And for me, this is where it gets fascinating. The idea that you, as a parent, can actually coach your kid on making friends. It's not just luck.
It's not luck at all. We have to treat social skills just like any other skill, like learning to read.
Or ride a bike, yeah.
Exactly. And you practice it in a safe space first, at home.
So how do you even start that so it doesn't feel like, another chore or a lesson?
You start with what they love. You let them relax and just talk about their favorite things, dinosaurs, video games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The goal is just to get them talking spontaneously.
Building that confidence muscle first.
Yes. Once they have that, then you can introduce what the sources call the 3 golden rules of dialogue.
Okay, so the first rule, I love this one. Don't interview the person.
Right.
Why is that such a common trap for kids?
Because it's what we teach them. Ask questions. What's your name? What's your favorite color? But if it's just one question after another, it feels like an interrogation.
There's no connection there.
None. The key is to take turns, to offer information back. You have to go from being an interviewer to being a participant.
Which leads right into the second rule. Exchange information. It has to be a two-way street.
Exactly. You talk about your own likes and dislikes, and you actually listen for theirs. You're looking for the launch pad.
The mutual interest.
Right. If the other kid says, I love baseball, you don't just say, cool. You say, oh, me too. Did you see the game last night? That's the pivot. That's what turns an inquiry into a real connection.
And the third rule is just about balance.
Right.
Don't hog the conversation.
Pretty much. Let it be a shared, fluid thing. So once you're working on those skills, you need a stage to practice on.
Right, a low-pressure stage.
And the sources suggest creating opportunities around a shared activity.
So 2 main ways for parents to do that. The first one is just be a host.
Yeah, if you can, invite a classmate and their parents over for a barbecue or just to play in the backyard. It's less formal than school, and that can really ease the strain.
Okay, but what if you're a shy parent or that's just not your thing? The second method, planning activities, seems a bit more structured.
It is. You enroll your child in something like sports or theater or an art class where you know other classmates will be.
But the key is that it has to be something the child actually wants to do.
That's the crucial part. The activity is the bridge. You can't force them into something they hate just to socialize. The genuine interest is what fuels the interaction.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Shifting from home practice to actually using the school environment, making teachers your allies.
Absolutely. The teacher can be your most powerful partner in this.
And one of the best tactics is to suggest a buddy system.
Yes. Pairing your child with a pleasant, agreeable classmate, it gives them an instant, built-in person for lunch or recess, which are often the most stressful times.
That's brilliant. It's like an instant low-stakes connection. And you can even ask the teacher to just prompt it, right? To say something like, hey, could she sit with you guys?
Exactly. That little authoritative nudge can be all it takes.
Okay, now let's pivot to parental behavior, because this might be the most important part for, long-term mental health.
Hmm.
The sources are really clear on this. Do not threaten, punish, or blackmail your child about making friends.
And that sounds extreme, but it's often much more subtle than that.
Right. What does that actually look like in practice?
It looks like creating performance anxiety. It's constantly
Mm.
saying you need to make more friends, or even worse, making your affection conditional on it.
Like, if you get invited to a birthday party this month, we'll get you that new video game.
Yes. And suddenly, the child's focus isn't on building a real connection anymore. It's on pleasing the parent. It's on managing your feelings, which is a terrible burden.
You think you're motivating them, but you're actually just making them afraid to fail.
Exactly. You're crushing their ability to take the genuine social risks that are necessary to make real friends.
So to fight that feeling of helplessness that comes with a big change, we need to be actively giving them control.
Yes. Small choices. Let them pick out their clothes, their lunchbox, their backpack. When everything else feels chaotic and new, those little things are anchors.
They're familiar.
They're familiar, and it gives them a little bit of influence over their own world, which boosts their confidence.
Okay, so now for the inevitable hurdle. What happens if, a few weeks go by and your child is still really resisting school or seems genuinely scared?
The first step is always to investigate, to talk to them. But if it just seems to be a general lack of interest or motivation, we have to tackle that head on.
And for younger kids, the strategy seems to be all about parental involvement.
Right, you get involved. You talk about what they learned, you help with homework, and you show that you think school is fascinating.
You're modeling curiosity.
You are. Little kids mirror that enthusiasm. If they see you're excited about it, they're much more likely to be too.
And for older kids who get the idea of delayed gratification, the focus shifts more to the long-term benefits, right?
Yeah, you can have a more direct conversation, connect what they're doing now with their future goals, and sometimes, a frank reminder about the risk of failing a grade can provide that necessary push.
This brings us to a really tricky subject: rewards. The sources say rewarding effort is key, but rewarding just the success can actually be a bad thing. How do you walk that line?
You have to be so precise here. The goal is to reward the process, not just the A+.
The grit.
The grit, exactly.
Yeah.
You reward them for sticking with a hard math problem for 30 minutes. You use praise, a high five. You recognize the labor.
Okay, but what's the nuance there?
Yeah.
Because the sources say you should avoid praising kids who get good grades without trying hard.
And that's the crucial part. Because if they get praised for things that come easily, they start to believe they shouldn't have to push themselves. They avoid effortful work, which is the bedrock of real learning and resilience.
That completely flips the script on praising natural talent.
It does. You praise the work, and part of that is you have to allow mistakes. Sometimes a kid needs to feel the natural consequence of not studying for a test to actually internalize that lesson. It builds resilience.
Okay, what if it's not motivation? What if it's just pure fear?
Yeah.
Those schoolyard jitters.
Acknowledge it right away. Tell them it's okay to be scared. You keep the lines of communication wide open.
And be patient.
So patient. And you can set up a slow transition routine. You don't hit them with all the new responsibilities on day one. And you definitely avoid pressuring them with a ton of extracurriculars right when school is starting.
They're already using up all their emotional energy just coping with the change.
Exactly. Protect that energy. Now, if you've done all this and the difficulties are still there, the final step is to get professional help.
Right. A school guidance counselor, a psychologist.
Or even just getting a referral from your pediatrician.
And that transition to professional help is a good reminder that all these social tips, they're part of a much bigger picture of child wellness, which is something the Omega pediatric sources really highlight.
They really do. A child's social, emotional, and physical health are all deeply connected. You can't separate them.
It's a holistic approach.
It is. Comprehensive pediatric care connects those dots. They offer everything from, preventive care and immunizations to obesity medicine and sports physicals. They get that a physically healthy kid is just better equipped to handle stress.
It puts all these strategies into a much larger context of a complete wellness philosophy.
It does. And their reach across Georgia, Alpharetta, Roswell, Milton,
Hmm.
it just shows how vital this kind of integrated approach is for helping all kids navigate these transitions successfully.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like it's provided such a clear roadmap. For me, the big takeaway is just how much influence we have through, targeted prep, practicing these skills, and just creating a safe home environment.
And if I could leave you with one final thought to mull over, it's that this need for open communication, an environment free from the threat of punishment or disappointment, that's not just for social skills.
It's for everything.
It's for everything. It's for critical thinking, for confidence, for life. If a child is afraid to fail at home, they'll never truly risk trying out in the world.
That's a powerful thought to end on. For more helpful tips, more resources, and to learn about that full spectrum of comprehensive pediatric services we talked about, you can visit the source of today's deep dive.
We really encourage you to visit omegapediatrics.com today. They have a ton of information and services there to support the complete health of your child, especially if you're in the Roswell, Alpharetta, or Milton areas of Georgia.
And if you found these strategies helpful, please make sure you like this deep dive, subscribe to our channel for more of this kind of essential knowledge, and definitely share this with other parents in your life.
Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.
Goodbye.